State throat throat.
But yes, I did.
Right, hi everybody. I've got a little bit here. So a few things. I just sent out an email this morning explaining some new procedures. So we won't be offering blankets and bolsters anymore. There's just no way of sanitizing them. So please bring your own blankets and a bolster if you have one. If you want to take one of these bolsters, if you're a frequent flyer, bring it back and forth or put it in the back or something so it's reserved. Oh, hello. Yay, we have an online person. Okay. And I'm going to be streaming my classes online. So if you don't want to come to the studio, if you can't come to the studio, if you're somewhere else or whatever, you can still participate in the classes. There's a whole explanation on the website on how to get onto the class. And if it doesn't make sense to me, call my son and he'll help you. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You book it. The online version will appear under the regular version. And so you'll see 9:30, whatever class this is. And then right below it, you'll see online. And then you click on that and it'll take you to a link to click on. So you're watching it real time? You're watching it real time, right? So you can't just do it. Can you hear me? No, you can't.
I can hear you perfectly.
All right, I was going to actually put on my Bluetooth so that you can hear me even better when I walk around.
Okay.
And
That's
so
very smart of you. I figured your son probably.
Oh yeah.
She is a super techie.
I have to say he was so cute yesterday because we were trying to put the link into the schedule and the software won't let you do that. He was like, "That's ridiculous. They shouldn't have the software do that. You have to send them a ticket." I said, "It won't get resolved until next week." And then he went like this, "Or I could," and he did something, and it worked. And he looked at me like this. He hates to smile. A lot of you know he hates to smile, and he just could not smile. He figured that out. He's like, yeah. So, and they also will be recorded. So if you can't make it in real time, you can watch later. I think it's better in real time, but we'll see how it goes. And I'm trying to reduce the size of classes to 13. I mean, we had 22 on Tuesday. I was really surprised, and I had 13 yet on Thursday, and I was really surprised at that. It's just too crowded. It's just, so I think it's better if we try to keep the classes smaller. There was just 5 cases in Monmouth County reported this morning, so it's creeping in closer. And so I'd much rather have people safe, but I also want to still provide yoga classes because I think it's really, really necessary. One of my colleagues closed her studio in Philadelphia yesterday. So I'm going to try to stay open, but as long as we all, contribute. So online classes, try to reserve your class here because after 13, you got to go back home and turn on your online. If you can't get online, let me know and I'll have you talk to Zachary. You just go to the class and you book. You have to have an account set up with KarmaSoft. I mean, you all have an account. Elaine will help you. Oh, Zachary will help you. Yeah, it's just a matter of setting up an account. Many of you do it anyway. Many of you are buying classes online. And this is just a matter of buying the class online and you go to the class you're coming to and you just click the button that says book and you're done. There's some people up really late last night because I didn't get all that published until about 11. And then this morning I woke up to all these books. I was like, oh, people up later than me. Okay. Oh, no, I didn't put that in. I'm going to have to send you the link to the recording. I don't know yet.
Okay. So how will we know if the class is full? Will it say?
It will say. Okay. It will say class is full.
For example, if we want to go to tomorrow morning's class, we book it whenever.
Yeah.
And we really can't just walk in either. We have to book everything.
You want to book. I would like you to book. I mean, there are certain classes, if you go to a class consistently and you see that there's only like 5 or 6 people in that class, then you're probably okay.
But we should still book.
I would still book, but I'm just saying if you didn't book and you still want to go to class and you come and it's a class that usually only has 5 or 6 people, you're probably okay. It's the classes, I'd say Tuesday morning, Friday morning, and Sunday morning are the classes that tend to get full. So I would concentrate if you're coming to that book those. Okay? Okay. And you can hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Great. Okay. All right, let's start then. Moving paradigm. But think of it this way, if you get used to this whole booking thing, you can practice with Yoga Loka no matter where you are. And for people like you who travel a lot, that's a big benefit. When you start traveling again.
Later in the year.
Okay. Okay, so close your eyes. Sit up tall. Inhale deeply and take a nice long exhale. Do that a few times, settling yourself into this place, into this moment. Feel the ground supporting you. Feel the weight of your body. Soften the shoulders down. Relax the jaw. If you're not sure if your belly is expanding when you inhale, just take a hand to your belly. When you inhale, feel the belly move out into the hand. When you exhale, pull the navel center back. And we're going to add an internal mantra to this breathing. So you'll inhale deeply, and as you start to pull the navel center back, repeat the mantra Om to yourself. The navel center moves out on the in-breath, and as you exhale, the belly button pulls back and you repeat Om. And Om is actually comprised of three separate sounds. It's the Ah, the Oo, and the And we often see it's written as OM. It's really AUM. And it contains the spectrum of the Sanskrit alphabet, which starts with the A sound and ends with an sound. And so we go from if we were saying this out loud, we go from a very open mouth and to a very closed mouth. And if you think of what when we say when we're delighted and surprised by something, ooh is, well, I don't know, a different kind of delight. And is when something is really good. Or maybe we're skeptical about something. So there's a whole range of emotions and experiences in this sound. There's said it's to be the vibration that aligns us the most closely with the vibration of the universe. So when you chant Om, especially internally, you're tapping into a very vast vibration. And you may want to follow it this way, that when you inhale, the already starts in the belly. And then as you exhale, you're pushing that ooh, and the at the very crown of the head. So the deep in the pelvis and the belly, the ooh vibrates in the chest, and the is up at the crown of the head. And if you can elongate the in the crown of the head and feel the head vibrate, feel the skull vibrate. Okay, now we'll do it externally. So pull that breath deep in and on the exhale. And a full deep inhale. And again, a full deep inhale. And then go back to the silent Om. And after you complete the next Om internally, go ahead and open your eyes. And then let's stretch the legs out. So I want to say a word as we're starting to go over a few words about neti pots and nasya oil, because there's been a little conversation about sinuses, uncomfortableness about what's going on with the sinuses. Okay. All right, come onto your hands and knees for cat and dog toe. So I just got a new batch of nasya oil in, and it's herbal oil that you drop into your nostrils when your head is back, like in fish pose, and you let the oil come into the nostrils, and it's very healing for the sinuses. It's a nice practice to do on its own, or if you ever use a neti pot or nasal irrigation, it could be a nice follow-up. So using a neti pot is a whole lesson in and of itself, which I'm not prepared to do online.
Very messy.
Last year when I went to Africa and I knew it was gonna be like super, super dry. And it was really good. I brought my oil.
A lifesaver, right?
It was a lifesaver. Lending it out to my other family members.
Oh. Well, this year, keep your nasty oil to yourself. But you'll find it to be a nice practice. I will say if you use too much nasya, some people complain it goes down the throat. Just don't use so much. Start with like 1 drop and let it go in. We'll practice an extra long fish today so you can prepare yourself for nasya oil. It's been so bad, even my daughter's been using it. Sinus-wise, she hates to use it because it's gross. It's an oil that comes in. It comes in a little bottle, and you put your head back and you drop 1 or 2 drops of oil into your nostrils. You keep your head back and you let the oil come into your sinuses. It's very healing. It helps to reduce inflammation, which is why why it gets all hot, and then you start to get the postnasal drip. That's inflammation. The mucus is trying to cool down the inflammation. So if you put the oil in, it's going to clear it up, and you're not going to suffer the effects of it. Huh? It does, it's usually very nice. Yeah, because it's got some herbs in it.
Can you use it topically? I'm curious how it's on your forehead.
I don't think it's going to do much good.
I just was wondering.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not the oil for that. There's a lot of essential oils, like the Young Living has some oils that you would put on topically. But I don't know much about the Young Living oils. I just know that there is some specific ones for sinus relief. What were you going to ask us? It does, yeah. It does go bad. You'll know. You'll just open it up and smell it, and you smell if it's rancid. Yeah, it's because it's sesame oil, so that'll go bad. Okay, let's come into downward facing dog. That you're getting the asana and nasya lessons all at one time and recorded. Okay, let's take the right leg up to the sky, reach it up and open. And then take the right foot forward between your hands. Take your back knee down to the ground, sink your hips down. And then let's pull the hips back. Curl your tailbone under a lot. So you're really doming the lower back. Pull the navel center in and then sink your hips down. Then turn your tailbone up and pull your hips back. That's on the inhale. Curl the tailbone under, pull the navel center and sink your hips down. That's on the exhale. Tailbone up, pull your hips back. That's on the inhale. So let's continue to pulse like this. So essentially we're doing cat and dog tilts while we're doing a low lunge. And feel like your tailbone, whichever direction it's pointing at, is first thing to move. So you curl your tailbone under, then pull your tailbone forward towards the mat, and that sinks your hips. Then turn your tailbone up to the ceiling and pull it back, and that's what brings your front leg a little bit straight. Curl under and sink, pull the tailbone back and lift. Okay, let's change sides. Slide the right foot back, take the left foot forward, and we'll do the same thing. Curl the tailbone under, sink your hips, pull the tailbone back, and pull your hips back. Now, if you have your tailbone curled under a lot, you're not going to be able to sink quite as far as you might be used to doing. And so we want to kind of balance between what you're used to doing and between this exercise of using the tailbone to initiate the movement, feeling how it affects the stretch on the downward movement. And how it inspires the upward movement with the tailbone moving back. And you're also getting a little bit of an abdominal workout. Okay, and then let's take that knee back and then press back into downward facing dog or child's pose. And if you're in the downward facing dog and you'd like to flow through vinyasa, use the inhale to come forward into high plank. Exhale, lower down, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, slide forward into cobra. Exhale, press back downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, look forward, take your right foot forward between your hands, Virabhadrasana 1. Spin the back heel down to the ground. Take your arms up, but keep the shoulders down. Plant the back heel. Face the palms towards each other and lift up this little notch between the thumb and the wrist. Lift that up. All right, so you're almost like pointing your fingertips forward a little bit. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Curl the tailbone under. Exhale, bend. Take the arms out to the side. Inhale, curl the tailbone under. Exhale, reach the tailbone back as you exhale. Inhale, curl the tailbone under. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Okay. Let's keep the exhale here. Take your hands onto your pelvis and see if the front hand can pull the belly button upwards and push the sacrum down. So cat and dog tilts here. See how much movement you can get in the pelvis. Try not to move the shoulders. So the shoulders stay right over your hips and just the pelvis moves. Now, for some of you, it's going to be a little bit more comfortable to have the tailbone under. For some of you, tucked under or pulled back. See which works for you. And then once you're settled in there, take your hands behind you in Yoga Mudra, interlace the fingers, pull the knuckles down, lift the heart center up, and then exhale, come forward halfway. So if you need to, you can come all the way down, rest your chest on your thigh, or hover a little bit. Keep reaching the chest forward, reach the knuckles back, curl the tailbone under. Roll the shoulders back. Try not to drop your head. Keep your chin moving forward. And soften the palate. Okay, release the fingers. Inhale, take the arms up, straighten the front leg. And then exhale, take the hands down. Step the leg back, move through vinyasa. Okay, let's take the left foot forward between the hands. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Back heel is pointed down, is planted down. And then lift up through this little notch between the base of the thumb and the wrist. Palms face each other. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, and bend. Pull the elbows down. Inhale, straighten, turn the tailbone under. Exhale, bend, pull the tailbone back. And then exhale. And then take your hands onto your pelvis, and then let's see if we can come into cat and dog tilt. You might find one side to be more difficult than the other side. Keep the shoulders still, they're hovering right over the hips. And then find the comfortable position, either the tailbone under or out. Take the hands behind you, Yoga Mudra, recross the fingers in the other direction. Pull the knuckles down, roll the shoulders open, inhale, and exhale, come forward. Hover over that thigh. Keep pulling the shoulder blades together, chin up, don't let your head drop. Keep the back muscles strong. So you're continuously trying to do cobra pose, your deep hip flexion, relax your tongue. And then let the arms come out. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend your knee. Take your hands down and make your way back through vinyasa. And then let's take the right foot forward. Spin the back heel down to the ground. Windmill yourself up into Virabhadrasana 2. Keep the front knee bent deeply. Look down at your knee. Should be pushed over towards the little toe side of your foot. And rotate the outside edge of your foot deeply down into the mat. Lift your arch up. Settle the shoulders down. Now let's see if we can do cat and dog tilts here. If you want, take your hands to your pelvis. Watch that when you turn your tailbone under your knees, don't collapse in. When keep the knees spreading open. Easier than warrior two and one, yeah. And then draw the tailbone under, under, under. And that has a tendency to have us curl forward, but lift up instead. So tailbone is under, heart center is lifted. Take the arms overhead. Take your right hand, take hold of your left tricep and pull that left hand back. Let it drop back, really. And so you're coming into a variation of reverse warrior. Lengthen the right side. Breathe from the hip up to the armpit. Breathe into the wrist, wherever you feel it. Okay, then go ahead and let the hand drop down. Take your right fingertip, see if you can tap your left shoulder. And reach that elbow back, back, back. And then reach the fingertips back. And then let's spiral into a warrior one. Pull the hips forward. You might have to step your back foot out to the side a little bit. Take your hands to your heart. Inhale. We're going to come into a twist. Now you can either twist with the elbow to the outside of the knee or take your hand down to a block. You can take your back heel off of the mat if you want. And anytime that it gets difficult or you become unstable, you become distracted, inhale deeply, exhale, Om, internally. Okay, so the next transition, you have two choices. You can either inhale up into warrior two, so you windmill all the way open, or you can exhale and just take your right hand down. We're all going to do the same thing from here. So this is just a flourish and a strength move. And then we're going to windmill the arms down and around and step back and move through vinyasa.
Yep.
And then let's take the left foot forward, Virabhadrasana 2. It's going to heel down, right heel down to the ground, windmill yourself back up. And then cat and dog toe. And then hold the tailbone under. Press the left knee open. Sink down a little bit more if you can. Reach the arms up. Your left hand will hold onto the right tricep and drop back. And breathe long into the left side seam, into the ribs. And then go ahead and let that right hand drop down. See if you can tap towards your right shoulder with your left hand. Maybe reach back a little bit more. Keep bending the front knee down. And then take the arm out, lengthen. Inhale, exhale, windmill the arms down and around. And step back and move through vinyasa. And from downward facing dog, take your right leg up to the sky, roll open. And let's draw that foot forward between the hands. Spin your left heel down to the ground. Windmill up. Virabhadrasana 2. Straighten the front leg. Tuck the tailbone. Spin the thighs open. Knees open. And then reach forward and come into Trikonasana. You can use a block here if you want. And press the underside, so your right side seam, press it down. It seems a little wacky. We don't want that right side seam curved. Instead, we want it straight. Press it down, and you'll feel how that goes into the hips. Another way to think about it is you're taking your left rib cage and pulling it towards your left hip bone. Lift the pelvic floor, soften the face, spread the heart center open. Notice the breath. Breath is always present, is always happening in the present moment. So it's a good way to bring your attention back. And if the attention starts to wander anyway, even with focus on the breath, remember you also have that mantra, Om, or you can listen to the music playing in the background, or you can listen to the music of your breath. Okay, let's push down into the feet. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bend the front knee deeply. And let's take the right hand, take it down to the ground on the inside of the right foot. Both hands to the inside of the right foot. Spin your back heel off the ground and take your knee down to the ground and sink your hips. So we're coming into like a lizard pose. And you can do this pose any way you like. You can have the hips sinking down with your being on straight arms. You can turn your toes out to the side. I like to start to pull my left hip towards my right ankle, so there's a little bit of a rotation. Yeah, just think about that back hip pulling towards the front. So it's a bit of a twist. Okay, then let's come back to the front. Turn your front toes to face forward. You can use your blocks here if you want. And you might want to just put something under your knee if you need a little bit more softness. What we're going to do is we're going to take that back heel and we're going to reach it towards the buttocks. So you're going to bend your back knee, have it flex, your foot flex, and like you're going to try to kick yourself in the you know what. So hopefully once you do that, you're not resting right on top of the kneecap. I'd like you to come a little bit further forward. You can also skip this completely and just stay in the low lunge and move back into child's pose. If this feels okay and it feels like, I don't know, maybe you can see your heel if you look over your shoulder, you're going to take your right hand and you're going to reach back for your ankle. Now try not to come into an internal rotation. You want to come into an external rotation. So you're holding the outer ankle, your thumb is facing up, the inside edge of your elbow is facing up, the elbow crease rather. No, if it's not there, it's not there, it's okay, don't struggle. So this is both a quadricep stretch and a shoulder stretch and a twist. Okay, let's come out of it. And then step back for downward facing dog or child's pose. Can you come out of it? Yeah, okay.
No, actually, I think I was made for this pose.
Oh, because you're long arms.
Long arms and long legs.
So just to see, Trish, if you need a little bit extra length in your arms, you have some to spare. But finally, I found the pose that was made for my body.
Really?
Oh, you're a good binder too. Yeah.
Except for this shoulder. All the way.
So a vinyasa or rest. You know, a lot of people will ask, does it matter if I do my yoga practice? Does it matter if I take supplements? Does it matter if I meditate? My answer is always the same. Stop doing it and see what happens, right? So one of the things I like to do in a yoga practice, an asana practice, when you've done something extreme in one side, is feel the difference between the two sides. So if you were in that low lunge for a while, you might feel a distinct difference between your hip flexors, right leg and left leg. Does anybody feel that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's even it out then. Kids, let's even it out. All right, we're gonna take the left leg up to the sky, roll it open. And then step that left foot forward between the hands. Spin the heel down to the ground. Come up into warrior two. Pull the shoulder heads down. Turn the tailbone under. And feel here that not that you're throwing your arms back, although we can do that sometimes in warrior two without a problem, but that you're taking your shoulder blades and you're pulling them in towards your spine. Does that make sense? Slide the shoulder blades in towards your spine and then slide them away. Slide them in and slide them away. We're going to try and regain all of the ways that our shoulders move, which is a lot. And we've lost a lot of it, no matter how old you are. Okay, then straighten your front leg and then come down into Trikonasana. And then just to play, see if you can do that on this side. Slide the shoulder blade in towards the spine and then pull it away. Slide the shoulder blade in and pull it away. And then let's inhale, come up to sound. Exhale, bend your front knee. Windmill the arms down and around. Take your back knee down to the ground and sink your hips. So we're coming into the lizard pose again. Because this is a different hip, it may require a different treatment, different expression. So find what you would like to do, whether you turn the toes out and you pull the back hip towards the front ankle, or you just stay sinking down, that could be sufficient. Breathe into whatever it is you're experiencing. We are looking for a stretch somewhere in the muscles of the hip or the front leg or something. Okay, and then if you want to go into that modification we did before, the quadricep stretch, you're going to come up a little bit, turn your toes to face forward. Actually, you don't even have to turn the toes to face forward. You can keep them turned out. That might make a difference for how low down you can get. And you're going to take your heel and you're going to reach towards your buttocks, and then you're going to tap it down. Reach it up, tap it down. And if it feels like you've gotten up pretty close and you think you can reach back for that ankle, go ahead. Try not to come out of the stretch to reach for the ankle. Keep the hips low and then come back. And if you can, then you can. Don't worry about it. This may have to do with your shoulder. It may have to do with your hips. It may have to do with how long your arms are. But the hips stay sinking down, down, down. So we don't want to lose that stretch in the hip flexors. We're getting, especially the rectus femoris, that muscle that goes below the kneecap and above the hip crease. We're getting it very long. It's the longest quadricep, so we have to hold it the longest amount of time. No, that's not true. Elaine, put your hips down. Sink, 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 sink. Yeah, keep sinking your hips down. Do you feel stretched? Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, good. All right, let's come back and out and press back into child's pose or downward facing dog. Okay, so now your other hip should feel like it's different from your first hip, but the next vinyasa you do will integrate. So everything feels the same again, but better. The same, but better. So from downward facing dog, let's take the right foot forward between the hands. Rise up to Virabhadrasana 1. Take your hands into your hips, straighten the front leg, and then you're going to rotate so that your toes are facing straight to the right side, to the left side of your mat. Let's take the hands together in Yoga Mudra. Pull the knuckles down. Spread the chest open. Feel the shoulder blades contracting. Make sure the heels of your hands are connected. So bend your elbows a little bit and press the inner elbows towards each other. Squeeze the inner elbows towards each other. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Lift the heart, turn the tailbone under. And now exhale, hinging at the hips. Come forward and down. Tailbone under for a moment. And then as you begin to come forward, yeah, you are reaching the tailbone out. Thank you. Now, try not to lose that connection of the middle trapezius, right? So the shoulder blades are still squeezing together. We have a tendency to lose that almost as soon as we start to fold down. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Some of you will be able to lift your thumbs off of your sacrum. Some of you won't. Don't force it. I would say squeezing the inner elbows towards each other is more important than taking the hands off of the back. Soften the tongue. And go ahead and let the arms drop down. Take your right hand, walk it over to your right ankle. Your left hand can come to the left ankle too, or you can take the left hand up to the sky for a twist. So right hand to right ankle, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Take all your hands to your right ankle, then lift your left hand up. Yeah. Right. Right. Take your right hand. Now pull your chin away from your chest and lengthen the front seam of the body. Yeah. Think about cobra here. Take your head back. Open up the throat. Soften the tongue. Just turn your palm towards me. Yeah.
Doesn't really want to do that.
Okay, and then release down and then go to the other side. I'm not even going to tell you what to do because I won't be able to. So just go to the other side and then do it on the other side. Chin away from the chest, front seam of the body long, throat long, tongue soft. And exhale, lower down, let everything drop forward. Soften your knees, roll up to stand. Okay, we're going to stay in this position, but you can look here for a moment if you want. What we're going to do now is we'll go again over to the right ankle, and then we're going to bend the right knee. And it doesn't have to bend a lot, but what I'd like you to do is feel that this thigh bone is moving down towards the ground. So you really plant the outside edge of the left foot down into the ground. Your right toe should be facing directly towards the side of your mat, not turned out to the side, but directly out. And then sink down. Really cement the outside outer edge of your foot down into the ground. Feel stretched in where?
The inner
Yes.
There.
Inner left thigh. And you might feel it on the outer ankle also. Okay, come to the center and then walk your hands over in the other direction. Cement the outside edge of the right foot down into the ground. Make sure your right toes are turned in a little bit. And then come back to the center. Soften the knees, roll up to stand. And then step your back foot forward to the front of the mat and draw your hands to your heart center. Relax the jaw, relax the shoulders. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, come forward and down, folding over your legs. Bend the knees deeply, look forward, walk or jump the feet back. Lower down, knees, chest and chin or chaturanga. Slide forward, press back down into downward facing dog. Let's take the right foot forward into a high lunge. And then draw your hands up onto your front knee. Turn the tailbone under, press out through the back heel. And now we're going to take the weight all the way to that front foot and start to lift it up. We're going to come into Virabhadrasana 3. And you can either come into it this way, nice kind of slow and controlled. You can take your hands down to the ground or the block, or you can take your arms out to the side. You might even want to try coming into Yoga Mudra because we've done it a few times today. Now try to feel that left gluteal muscle really working to keep that leg up. Flex the toes to point straight down to the ground. And then let's retrace our steps. Step back into a high lunge, take the arms up. Did we ever do the twist on the other side? I think we missed the twist. We missed it. So it's the other leg that we have to do the twist on. Okay. Take this hands down, step that leg back. Vinyasa or child pose.
I didn't notice.
Bunch of slackers.
All right, I'm a slacker. Who's a cheater?
I didn't say cheaters.
I was a cheater.
Bunch of chickens. Okay, so let's take the left foot forward. And first we'll come into the twist. So you will take your hands to your heart and rotate, or you can take the right hand down to the ground and take the left arm up. And then you'll either inhale, open up Virabhadrasana 2, or exhale, take your hands down. And then we'll make our way into a high lunge. Take your hands onto your thigh, push down. Start to take all the way to the front foot and hop that back leg up. Toes are turned down, flex down. Your knee can straighten or stay a little bit bent, especially if you're going to keep your hands on your thighs. The hands can also find the ground or the blocks, or come out to the side, or come into Yoga Mudra. Soften the tongue and the palate. Make sure you're still breathing. Remember, if it gets difficult, exhale, Om. Connect to something higher than this physical body. Okay, then retrace your steps. Inhale. Exhale, take the hands down. Step back and move through vinyasa. Let's come onto hands and knees.
You cat and dog tilts here.
And then you're going to inhale into the dog tilt, tailbone up, chest down. Feel like your torso is a hammock hanging from between the arms and the legs, just slinging down. And then you're going to slide forward a little bit, bend your elbows, touch the chest down to the ground, chest, knees, chest, and chin, Hamsa Asana. And then slide forward into Cobra. Now let's all just slide the hands down a little bit closer to the hips. Spin your fingertips out just a little bit and squeeze your elbows into your body. Keep bringing the elbows towards each other, like as if they were cricket legs and they were getting ready to rub together. Roll the shoulder heads back. Press the toes down. Then inhale, lift your hands. And see if you can come up, excuse me, a little bit higher. Let's see if you can come up a little bit higher. And either come up a little bit higher or exhale, relax down. Turn your cheek to one side. Once you relax down and rest the body down. If you haven't already, make a pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead down on your hands. And then we're going to take the right leg up. Straight. Keep the leg straight, not bent. So you're lifting up from the gluteals. The leg is straight. Relax the foot. Lift it up a little bit higher. Lift it up a little bit higher. And one more time, lift up a little bit higher. Relax your left leg. It's going to want to push into the ground to get this leg higher. And then relax down. And then the left leg. Lift it up. Leg is straight. Foot is relaxed. Knee is not bent. Lift up a little bit higher. Contract the gluteals. Lift up a little bit higher. Lift up a little bit higher. Try to relax your right leg. And then you know what's coming. Both legs. Come on up. Both legs come up. Lift up a little bit higher. A little bit higher. A little bit higher. A little bit higher. And then relax down. You can take your legs wide apart and windshield wipe your feet a little bit if you want. Let's push back into child's pose. Reach back for your heels, holding on to your heels. We're going to come into rapid pose. You're going to move to the top of your head by lifting your hips up, pulling your navel center in and curling your tailbone under. Press the spine up, 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 up to the ceiling. Keep pressing the spine up. It should be a very strong engagement in the abdominal muscles. Nice feeling of having your head connected to the ground. You're trying, if you do headstand, this is where the head touches the ground when you do headstand. If you don't do headstand, then you want to try to find the flattest place of your head. So when if you ever do headstand, that's where you're going to be. Okay, go ahead and release down. Separate your legs if you want to rest, be a little bit more rested in the child's pose. It depends on whether you like the knees together or not. Okay, and then we'll come into Ustrasana, which is a pose of the month. So we'll rise up. You can have your toes turned under or your feet pointed behind you. I like to start with my toes turned under. Take your hands to your sacrum, your fingertips point down, and the heels of the hands rest below the waistband, and push the tailbone under. Roll the shoulders back and lift the heart center up. Tailbone under, heart center lifts, shoulders back. Squeeze your elbows in towards each other. Soften the tongue. Keep turning the tailbone under. Keep lifting the heart center up. So this is a fine place to be, especially if you're really working the elbows towards each other. You're contracting the middle trapezius and stretching the pectorals. You're also working the gluteals. If you want to go a little deeper, you can slide one hand down to the heel and then the other hand down to the heel. You want to keep the tailbone moving forward as much as possible. And the chest lift up, lift up, lift up. Breathe into the upper part of the ribs. You can have your head dropping back or keep your chin pointing towards, reaching towards your chest, or anywhere in between that would be comfortable for you. Breathe into the upper lungs. Breathe into the strength in the gluteals, keeping the tailbone forward. Leave it when you need to. Your counter pose will either be malasana, so squat pose, and maybe you need a little bit more, a few more steps for that transition, or child's pose. So we want to come into a deep hip flexion, whether it's malasana or child's pose. We want a place where the lower back is lengthening and rounding. So if you are using a prop for malasana, it's fine. Just work it out so that you can really let your lower back sink. I actually suggest for this particular counter that instead of putting a block underneath you, you put something under your heels. The block underneath the hips is going to prevent the hips from releasing. And if you're towards the back of edge of your mat, you can reach for the sides of your mat, drop your head, and let that grasp help to lengthen the back. And once you open up in that position, you can reach a little further, and you can reach a little further. You can either stay in this malasana. If you like to practice bakasana, you can try that now. I know some of you are happy to experiment with that. So your choices: bakasana, malasana, balasana, child's pose, or baddha konasana. Eva, can you jump back from there? The answer is yes. Very nice. Now jump forward into bakasana. Yeah. Good. Good save. Okay. Let's come into baddha konasana. Go ahead and drop your head down towards your heels. Breathe into the space between the shoulder blades. Breathe into wherever you might be feeling the stretch. You might be feeling it along the outside edge of your hips, buttocks, hip flexors, the inner thighs. Many places that you can be feeling this. Okay, let's come up And then we're going to straighten out the right leg and draw the left heel in towards the groin and kind of open up towards the side of your mat. We're going to come over into a lateral fold. So you're going to take your right hand to your right shin, lift your left arm up, and then start to come over. Now, if this bothers your shoulder, just take the shoulder out of it. You can just kind of creep the left hand up alongside the inner right thigh, and that's fine. You're still going to be able to target kind of the outside of the hip and the rib cage. If you have the mobility for this and your hand is overhead, you can try reaching for the toes. So your left hand reaches for your right toes. And if that's an easy movement for you, so if that's not an easy movement for you, turn your ears off, don't listen to the next thing. If it's an easy movement for you, you can drop your forearm down to the ground. So it's laying power, so your right forearm drops down to the inside of your right shin, and then you take hold of the outside edge of your foot with your left fingertips. I told you to turn your ears off. You couldn't. Now, if you can't help but put that left arm up and it's hurting, just take your hand behind your head and support your head. Like that's another way of using that arm. Okay, well, let's come up. And then we're going to square the hips to the front. So you're going to slide your bent knee to face the very front of your mat and lift up a little bit and pull your right heel back about 3 inches. And so now your hips are square to the front edge of your mat, and then you'll fold over that extended leg. Keep the toes pointing up to the ceiling. Reach that heel as far away from your sit bones as you can, so you're lengthening the underside of the leg, even if the leg remains a little bit bent. Then let's come up, and then we'll take that knee pointed up to the ceiling and come into a twist. Any variation you like, either embracing the leg or hooking the elbow to the outside. If you know that you can bind, you can come into the bind. And then let's release and open. Okay, and then we'll switch sides. So stretch out your left leg, draw your right knee in, open the hips up as wide as you can. And then we're going to come into the lateral fold. So you can start very simply by resting the left hand on the left shin, reaching the right arm up and over. Remember, the right arm can drop down too, or you can use it to support your head. If you have a little bit more mobility here, you'll take that left forearm, drop it down to the inside of the shin, and reach for the outside edge of your left foot. And then we'll square the hips to the front. So pull the right knee forward, lift up, pull your left heel back a few inches, and then settle it down, and then come to fold. Reach the heel long from the sit bones and reach the heart center towards the toes. Feel like each time you Inhale, you're growing the torso. Torso lengthens. Okay, and then let's come up and we'll come into the twist. So your right knee points up and then rotate. No, you're right. Oh, did you? Maybe. And release. Counter, little counter twist, and then take your legs out. Okay, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time in fish pose. If you know that you're going to do a shoulder stand, then do that first before you come into fish pose. If you're not inverting today, then I'm going to suggest you take the 2 blocks and you set them up, one between your shoulder blades and one underneath your head. You can have a difference, like the block under your chest can be a little bit higher than that. You might also, some of you might feel that the block is too hard underneath your shoulder blades. Take a that and hold it up and put that under your shoulder blade. And then once you're settled in the position, I'll come around and help make sure that you're in the right place. You can take the soles of your feet together and your knees open. So people often wonder if they're in the right place in the fish pose, and what I'd say is, if it feels good, you're in the right place. If it doesn't feel good, you're not in the right place. This should be the part of your own. It should be really nice. Yeah, you can do it without. And if you are in the restorative fish pose, have your palms facing up. And you have room, so take up as much room as you want by taking the arms out a little bit more, maybe. So you're either in an inversion or you're in a restorative pose. or you're tremoring, you can always also set up for Shavasana. We're going to do a particular breathing pattern in Shavasana. You can listen to the instructions rather, as you're getting ready for Shavasana. You're going to lay down as you usually do with Shavasana, your feet apart and the toes turned out to the side. Now you'll inhale as you usually do, but feel like the inhale is coming in from the feet all the way up through the body into the heart center. And then when you exhale, it's going to go from the heart all the way down through the legs, all the way out through the feet. You're going to chant Om as you do that. And the exhale is like going to reach to the furthest areas of the universe, whatever that may mean to you, just out into the cosmos. So you exhale Om, out, 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 out to the furthest reaches of the cosmos. And then from there, you inhale again. And then you Om, out through the body, out into space, out through the cosmos. And then you inhale back Om. Sorry, you exhale Om, and then you just inhale back. Exhale out to the furthest reaches of the cosmos. And then inhale. Exhale, chanting Om. Let the mantra guide you to these places in the cosmos. Begin to deepen your breath. You can begin to move your fingers and toes and hands and feet. When you're ready, roll to the right side, drawing your knees up towards the chest. And when you're ready, come up to sit. I'd like to end class today with chanting the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. I think some of you know it, but we'll do at least one call and response. And this is a mantra that promotes healing in people, in the universe, in the environment. So we really can't chant it too much these days. So if you know it, chant it as much as you can during the day. If you don't, the words are easy to find. So I'll chant it and we'll go call and response. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe. Sugantim Pushtivardhanam. Sugantim Pushtivardhanam. Ordvarukami Babandhanan. Ordvarukami Babandhanan. Mrityur Mukshir Mamritat. Mrityur Mukshir Mamritat. Swaha. Okay, sounds like most of you know it. So now we'll chant it 2 times together. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Suganti Pushtivardhanam Ordvarukami Babandhanan Mrityur Mukshir Mamritat Swaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugantim Pushtivardhanam Ordvarukami Babandhanan Mrityur Mukshir Mamritat Swaha. Taking hands to your heart. Sadguru Nath Maharaj ki jai. Jagadambe Mata ki jai. Jai Ma. Namaste. We're very much for coming today, both in person and remotely. And please wipe down your blocks. If you are leaving your mat here and you want to wrap up one of the blankets in your mat, you can do that and then just use that one all the time. Some of you have your own, so you don't have to worry about it. Mm-hmm. You can bring it back and forth.
Are you going to Zoom?
I know that when I used to do Teach for Wegmans, everybody had their own bag that had all of their props in it. So I don't know, it makes sense to try something like that. We just don't have a whole lot of room for storage. So, but we can certainly put stuff in the lobby. So if you want to bring a bag here and put your stuff in it, if you feel better having one set of, probably won't work, one set of the blocks. There are wipes for the blocks now. You can use the wipes. Just please make sure that the tub is closed when you take out your wipe.
Are you going to Zoom the SOAS class?
Hold on a second. I have to make the volume a little louder. What did you ask?
Are you going to Zoom the SOAS class?
Yeah, but I'm going to end this meeting and then I'll send you the invite for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Or actually, what I'll probably do, I'm going to end the recording. You can just stay on here. It's fine. It's not a problem.
Okay.
So